Hey there, Exiles. We got a day one review reflection coming at you. I'm going to talk about my build, a little bit about how things are going for me on my end. I've become recently aware that the community is kind of unhappy about the state of the game, especially with the archnemesis. Even after the initial nerf, one-day nerf. I don't know, behooves me a little bit. It's not been that insane for me. I'm doing a build that I've never done, so it's hard for me to kind of compare. So I think some of my... It has been somewhat challenging for me this league start, but it's because I'm leveling his tornado shot, I think, has a lot to do with it. So that compounded with a harder league start via the archnemesis modifiers being quote-unquote busted. Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to put my thumb on any kind of issues in game balance per se. But anyway, in this video I will kind of showcase to you my build, some of my gear that I'm working on. I've told many of you, basically the only solid piece of information I've given anyone about what my league start plans were is that I plan to do a Soul Thirst build. And I did eventually kind of tell some people I think I'm going to go tornado shot with that, and I'm not there yet. Not on the Soul Thirst section. You can't really like league start Soul Thirst on day one. Kind of have to set up some stuff. But I do have the sort of preliminary setup with Tornado Shot, and then I'll have to obviously adjust a few talents, and then obviously do major adjustments to my Flasks. I'll have to get a few Cluster Jewels, which, much to my delight, are very cheap. Apparently, the Cluster Jewels I need are only like 1 Chaos, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. So, let's get into it. Here, we got, go over my build first. Deadeye, oh my god. I'm not running Raider. Nah, Deadeye Ascendancy is really strong when you're kind of under-geared, I'd say. Okay, so, you know, I did the labs already. By the way, that 8 hour and 30 minute time is about what it took me to get through maps. That is way better than my previous run, so I'm really happy about that. I know that's not a time worthy of bragging really, but as far as personal best, that's at least like 2 hours faster than my personal best. So I did spend a lot of time the week leading up, unfortunately not really playtesting Soul Thirst builds, but I did test leveling as Tornado Shot and going through the acts, and I focused primarily on acts 1 through 3. They seem to determine a lot about how the pacing went. So, let's see, I picked up Gathering Winds there before finishing Act 3. Then I got Ricochet, and then actually before I killed Kitava, I went ahead and did the Merciless Lab. So that's an 8 hour, 30 minute time with the Merciless Lab. So not terrible, very good for me. It's still nowhere near as fast as I can do. My goal was to get in 7 hours, but I kind of knew it wasn't going to happen because there's still some items, and you can see in a second, that I purchased for gear upgrades that are actually kind of like long-term in-game gear, at least before Headhunter, like the Wretch Belt, for example. But here, we'll get into it. I went ahead and I'm running an extra aura, so I went ahead and got the aura set up. This is how I like doing Life Leech and Life on Hit, especially for Tornado Shot. I know for some reason most Tornado Shot builds do not incorporate this wheel, but it's very close and easy to get. I don't know, just 3 points really. 4 points in my case. I do have another jewel slot nearby, but whenever I get a Watcher's Eye, I usually put it right there. I went straight down here, and I was following Havoc's guide primarily. I did adjust a few things though, like I got, in his guide apparently he didn't even get Quick Step, which is kind of odd to me, but I did go ahead and get a few points there. And I also like going down here for Flask Effect Duration increase, especially strong for the early Quicksilver game, which is pretty important. I also like this Mastery here, really helps with ignites and shocks and freezes and stuff you might face in the campaign, but more importantly in maps. And you can put that, yeah, I have a mana flask obviously. You'll notice I don't have a life flask. That was removed fairly recently. With this much Life Leech and Life on Hit with just this wheel up here and Tornado Shot, by the nature of how many hits there are with it, you don't honestly need a life flask except for like lab traps and stuff like that. Let's see, okay, went ahead and got this up here. Now the phasing, I don't think phasing is really that important on this character, but obviously Ice Prison can be an issue. I do have Frost Blink down here. Yeah, and now this Mage Bane was much later on when I when it came to getting 100% spell suppression. But I went straight down here. I got Onslaught reliably there. I definitely got the strength portion there for being able to level up the strength gems a little higher. We got, I think I actually went straight up here for the long shot, which is really strong. I got fleet-footed. Let's see, I have the mastery 10% increased movement speed if you haven't taken damage recently before that. I did not get the spell suppression until later. I fairly quickly got all the mark wheel here, and I got 25% increase of marks. I was running Blood Rage instead. I did get point blank early on. These nodes are actually stronger than I realized. So with the Herald skills, Herald of Ice especially, and Herald of Thunder I was running too. I was running Anger, Herald of Ice, and Herald of Thunder. So in Havoc's guide he was running Anger and Herald of Ice, which is a good combination. But he didn't take this wheel up here, so he was missing Herald of Thunder. So anyway, chance to freeze, shock, and ignite is super strong for these Herald skills, and really nice, and get an extra 15 all res from the mastery there. Super strong, notable here early game, so that was cool. I eventually did take the life nodes, I think, after that, and then basically that's all I had when I hit maps. Now since then, of course, I built up spell suppression, so I had to get all the spell suppression nodes. I had to take Mage Bane, and I'm sitting at around 106% spell suppression with everything, I think, even with this mastery here. So pretty comfortable there, not having to have 40% spell suppression on my Raider. Ascendancy is working. You can see my next move here is to get this wheel, although I should probably be saving points because I'm going to need to start thinking about medium cluster jewels next. Okay, so that's basically all about the build. Very surprised how valuable many of these nodes are for Tornado Shot. So I think a lot of people have in their mind leveling is Tornado Shot. It's like a miserable experience. It actually wasn't so bad, and I think the passive skill tree really carries it pretty hard. I mean, this wheel here is super strong. The Onslaught there, the marks really strong. The long shot here, all the movement speed wheel here, and just this wheel here, and like it's all surprisingly very good for Tornado Shot. Synergizes really nicely. Now accuracy, of course, is kind of an issue, so as I've been leveling up, I had to get the accuracy and the suppression, so that is where some of the more recent points went. Okay, so that's kind of concludes the points. Let's get into gear here. One sort of requirement for doing well leveling Tornado Shot is you got to keep your bow kind of up to date. So it's quite simple though. What you have to do, you just basically have to get a bow that has as much DPS as you can possibly find, and a faster bow is good. So this is kind of a picture perfect bow here. It's not super high quality, you know, the tiers of what, tier 3, tier 4, and then a crafted one, but it does have attack speed on a thicket bow, so that is pretty strong. I just bought this bow for like, I don't know, 15 chaos or something, and then I bought a bow like that had like 500 DPS, about 3/4 of what this number here was, for like 5, maybe 10 chaos early on before I even hit maps, I think. So the first amount of chaos I really started spending was on bows. That was an intelligent choice because it makes a huge difference getting the elemental damage modifiers that you can get on your bow. I think Tornado Shot leveling is a lot better than it used to be primarily because of how much of an increase that the elemental damage modifiers have on the weapon, the bow, as well as the quiver, for that matter. Now this quiver doesn't take advantage of it very much, so this is not a perfect quiver by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, bow attacks, fire additional arrow, super, like basically mandatory mod. High life roll, crit multi is good, although it's not that great for me now. Percent damage increase with bow. This is a pretty good quiver, and it cost me, I don't know, again, 15 chaos maybe. It's not too expensive, but it's not like the market's completely dry on this stuff, but yeah. So one thing I did last season is bought this amulet belt, and then I actually had gloves. I was corrupting for the implicit. I can't go with elemental weakness implicit on gloves because I don't have the room for a curse, thanks to Sniper's Mark with Mark on Hit. Oh yeah, Mark on Hit also made Tornado Shot leveling a lot better. A lot more convenient too. I actually bought this amulet. I didn't really try to do a lot. I have tried to corrupt a few of the wretches, and I remember last season one way I jump started my chaos reserves, I was building up some chaos orbs, is by buying a famine bind and a feast bind, putting the link together, making it, and then corrupting myself and as long as it didn't brick, I could turn around and sell it. I've been selling these for like 10 chaos a piece, like where nothing happened. Like this is the only one that I have that even corrupted anything. And you know, while this would be good for omniscience, it has like hardly any value. Actually, if it had, ironically, if it had percent strength, that would be useful for me, because my determination is kind of capped out right now, sadly. Oh yeah, so again, I ran Anger, Herald of Purity, Herald of Ice, and Herald of Thunder, and then I had to do a hard switch over to Determination, Grace, Defiance, Banner, and I still am able to keep Herald of Ice in, which is pretty nice. You're going to see, I'm going to showcase a couple maps here. You're going to see that. So the Gull is way more expensive this season than last, go figure. I did not even get my hands on a Gull until well into white maps. Then finally had the money to buy one. I had to pay like 15 chaos for it. I did mandate that it was a fairly rolled one. However, now rings. One of my regrets is kind of spending a little extra time and money on rings, although they can be resold. I took my own advice and got myself an aileron veil very easily in one try, and now this ring is really nice for a day one ring, and I think I paid maybe 25 chaos for this ring, something like that, maybe more. Obviously, it did not have the aileron craft on it, and with the aileron craft, it's way higher than 25 chaos. I could probably turn around and sell this ring quickly for like 50 chaos. I would imagine. Maybe even almost an Exalt, because I did that sort of thing last season. The other ring is very peculiar, so the kind of last minute decision here to go with this, because I was checking unique rings and I realized, oh yeah, you know, I could use this one. Nobody really talks about this ring, it does anything, but look at how amazing this is for Tornado Shot in particular, especially if you're using a Herald and you're going for like % freeze, shock, and ignite, if that stat actually means something. This is really good, and actually I don't really know that top line. Just increased damage with hits, ailments per free shock or ignite on enemy. Even through trying to do like 10 minutes of research on it, I still couldn't really figure out an answer of what the realistic expectation is. I'm guessing it's like 60%. Like if you're a Tornado Shot and you constantly have like all 3 elements up on basically all enemies at a time, I'm guessing it's like 60% increased damage, just that line. Maybe it really is only 20%, but I can't imagine it's only 20%. Anyway, this ring packs a pretty big punch on the all res. My god, 38 all res on this ring. That's like 4, what is that? That's like 4 tier 2 all res suffixes value. So that's huge. At least 80% increased damage, flat damage. And obviously a good catalyst choice for this would be increased elemental damage. Catalyst, I get an extra 12%. Or maybe even, I don't think the top line will change. Well, that's a good question on the top line. Not sure, but unfortunately all catalysts are like a chaos each right now, so I'm not buying that. So cool choice with the ring. I did make some sacrifices. I'm not able to put minus mana cost on here, not able to get any kind of life roll on it. So yeah, but so much increased damage and extra free shock ignite chance. So that gives me a total of 30% with that. And I actually have a Flasks down here that is 20. I actually have 51% chance to freeze, shock, or ignite, which is pretty insane how that looks in maps. Yeah, so let's see. The helmet we already understand. Like I'm going shrines. That was kind of my plan to get domination as quickly as I could. I have unlocked it now. By the way, I've done. I don't think I've done a red map yet. I'm not sure. I have a couple of red maps on me. But yeah, we'll test out a red map with this. No, I think maybe I did do a red map. I'm not sure. Having to watch out again for elemental reflect on maps, and physical reflect for that matter. A series step, a very standard good choice. Is one of the more expensive uniques, somewhat expensive unique that you can get your hands on really early, and it helps with spell suppression. It's not the best item in the world, but I do like it because it offers an opportunity to get a good corruption too. I like getting +1 minimum, +1 maximum endurance charges. At some point, I even anointed this amulet with this anointment is +1 minimum endurance charges, chance to get endurance charge on kill, and 8% damage per endurance charge or something. So as you know, I don't have Duresses and Defiance yet. My plans going in next on the gear will be to get a 6-socketed level 100 Imperial bow. That is from The divination cards, they're about 3, 4, 5 chaos apiece right now, a little bit expensive. Plus, I'd have to actually roll the bow, which is the bigger concern of mine. But if I can the moment I change out Tabula Rasa for Darius' Defiance, my effective health is going to skyrocket from all that strength and evasion, and life for that matter. So that's going to be that's going to feel good. Obviously, I'm going to get a Soul Thirst. I'm going to go for Soul Thirst. Now, I'm not going to get into detail about Soul Thirst because I haven't actually begun the transition yet, but this is, a couple hours into day 2, but I am at a sort of transitory time right here where I'm getting ready to do switch over to Soul Thirst. Still got to buy some flasks and stuff for it, and I still got to do my final lab. So I should do the lab before I do Soul Thirst, right? Because I have to use a life flask. I'm not sure how that's going to go, to be honest. But I am going to try a lab here shortly. I do have it unlocked, and I'm comfortably doing like tier 10 maps. I do die. I definitely feel kind of squishy still. Shrine's really helping carry me and stuff. But again, I will showcase that in a minute. Flasks here. So I already showed you the Quicksilver. I like going Alchemist Flasks. The Wretch has 60% increased flask duration, and 15% increased movement speed during any flask. So these flasks last a long time. It does have a downside of fewer flask charges gained. That's actually offset almost maybe entirely by the Atlas passives, actually. Yeah, there's 10% there. Another 10% if I want it. I like this type of mana flask in the beginning. I did come up with a neat idea to actually try to use an amethyst flask I forget the name of it, but it makes you immune. As you can see, my chaos res is negative. So it goes to positive 19 with my amethyst flask on. So that is what replaced my life flask. So that's a pretty good decision, I think, there. Reduces mana cost down all the way down to, let's see, so it's 20 without any with the I didn't go over to gym links, so I'll go over to gym links after this. All the way down to 6 mana cost. So as you can see, I could actually drop the mana flask too. Which is good, which is what kind of marks the timing where, oh, okay, wow, I don't even need a life or mana flask now. Soul Thirst is really on the table here, so what I can do with that. And then a Jade Flask and Granite Flask. The quintessential effect of curses reduction, and I went ahead and got armor, increased armor, because again, for this character, it has, except for these 3 points, it has no % increased armor, which means % increased armor is a super high value stat. If you're running like Determination and Defiance Banner and a Granite Flask, you get a huge amount of extra armor from a flat % increase of armor. Okay, so the links. So the 6th link is basically my 6th link that I already had, except because I'm running Deadeye, fork support a little better than chain support, I think. Let's see, Trinity there, elemental damage with attacks, inspiration, and then greater multiple projectiles. So I have to run this because I don't have enough projectiles yet. I think this is still, I wonder how many projectiles you have to have until this actually becomes not as good. That would be a good question. Could actually check through the POB, kind of, but you really have to. There's a lot of variables involved to really know for sure at what point you should sub out greater multiple projectiles for like a different multiplier. At any rate, for the totem setup, I still don't even have the totem setup I want. It's just the leveling totem setup. Oh, sorry, it's down here. That's right, I moved it. Yeah, so greater multiple projectiles, added cold damage because I don't know. I'm not terribly worried about the totem setup right now. Oh look, I'm using Immortal Call with haste and increased durations for it. Not efficacy because I couldn't roll a blue socket onto this anywhere yet. Yeah. Actually, that's right, I got my hands on these gloves now, so now that I have an armor and evasion, I could probably switch these over. I might do that, actually, because I have an extra slot for the precision I can put in the bow. Okay, so here are my auras here. Obviously no Enlighten or anything yet. Frostblink, I don't know. I like it better than Flame Dash. Flame Dash makes you lag right after you cast it. Maybe Dash is good too, but I leveled with Frostblink, really liked it, so I just kept it. Mark Support, Sniper's Mark, and then Defiance Banner in here. Yeah, I think actually what I ought to do, I can squeeze in an efficacy by simply swapping the gem links over and re-rolling the colors on these two items here, and then putting the precision in the weapon. That's something I should do immediately after posting this video. Okay, I think that's about it on the gear and the gems. Okay, what are my thoughts on archnemesis leveling? That was fine. I don't have a problem with it. Sentinel's pretty cool. I think it is a bit of a trap, like all League encounters are past like Act 1. You really shouldn't mess with it. Kind of adds some time to your axe, and it definitely added some time to me without getting much out of it. I did get a ton of essences early because my Stalker Sentinel, my first major Stalker Sentinel setup had like essences, and I'm not even going essences on the Atlas. All of these essences are from the Stalker thing. So this, as you can see, I've combined it, and now you have 2 rewards. But I was running, this is now the 3rd round of the Stalker Sentinel that has an essence reward on it. And good God, I got so many essences early. It was super nice for like leveling though. Wow, it was really good. I got really lucky with that. But obviously at this point, I think I would much rather have like currency or uniques, something like that. Yeah. The bank is pretty broke. Not much there. This is an interesting thing. So I have in the back of my mind a Fizz to elemental conversion setup that is going to use Lionized Glare. We'll have to get into this. I think I'll be talking about this a little more in the week 1 review. But for now, I don't have what it takes to do this. Got very interesting mods on it. A little bit weak on the damage, but good God, that speed. Hits can't be evaded means you could 100% ignore any kind of accuracy mods that you need on the Atlas passive stuff. Far shots, a lot of extra damage too. So I got this in the back of my mind, but for now it's inferior. I did try running it a little bit. Definitely way less damage than this because it by itself it has nowhere near the DPS that a just flat triple elemental damage with decent tiers on the weapon has. So I have 0 sources of Fizz as extra, so there's no point in running it. Let me showcase you a couple maps here. First map I'm going to showcase is using the Sentinel. So I have in my mind already what I think the sort of endgame is going to look like, and go figure, I have a cemetery map loaded up in here. So I think my early endgame setup is going to look something like this. So I'm going to run Domination in a cemetery map, of course, because who doesn't want to find a brother's stash? Maybe I'll find one on this map. Probably not. And I think what it's going to look like is you're going to go in the map and you're going to start with by finding a shrine. Okay, this is your tier 4. Now I'm using a low tier because... So something like this, right? So I just made everything powerful. Quickly grab the shrine. And the drops are, you know, pretty significant. Now my loot filter, I'm still running like leveling loot filter, so I'm going to see everything. Yeah, so I got the shrine, I pick up whatever. I am still using chaos recipes because I'm poor as hell. I don't know. Okay. Oh, there is a map in there, isn't there? Should probably pick that up. Okay, and then I think you would kind of use... Get all your shrines, you know, obviously the wrong boxes though. So next thing would be to either find the boss or get the shrines. And again, I'm playing this in my head like I already have Headhunter, but I'm just kind of pretending. So I'm trying to get all the shrine effects. I'm very good at ninja clicking shrines in the face of monsters. I got so much practice at that. It used to be really hard. Okay, and then, you know, I deploy the Stalker Sentinel once I get all my shrines, because now suddenly I'm really powerful. Now I only have a lesser acceleration shrine, sadly, so I'm not that strong. But, you know, you can see the Stalkers, and then when you get down here, you get the Apex Sentinel out for the boss. get that guaranteed juicy kill, I guess. And, you know, I will still one-shot that boss with the Sentinel charged up or whatever. But I think it looks something like that. So again, I'm going to start with just by color code. I'm going to get to my first shrine, which is going to have an entire screen full of monsters, basically. Especially if there's a strongbox near, like open the strongbox, then click the Sentinel, just empower everything. And then, you know, maybe I'll just run away from it if it's too hard, and then come back later. Or I can just kill it right then if it's doable. And then after that process, we'll give up the red Sentinel. Yeah, I guess that's it basically. And then kind of get to the boss room, and then get out the bronze Sentinel. And that's it.
Greetings.
And there doesn't seem to be hardly any time added, so I think this league mechanic's far superior to the last one as far as like juicing potential is concerned. Yeah, so I am delighted at how the league mechanic, just kind of looking into through the looking glass, trying to think about how that's gonna play out. Where is that? Okay, here it is. Just pick myself up a random thing, I guess. Actually, that might have been worth keeping. Got a little chaos recipe. My very first quick tips video looks something like this in my stash tab. Yeah, I practice it. I definitely practice what I preach here. I could actually turn a few of those in. I think I will do that on this video so you guys can see. That doesn't look very good.
Till next time, shall we
really have no idea what these power cores are actually going to be worth. I don't know. I have a funny feeling people aren't really going to do Sentinel. I think the league's too hard. I think a lot of people aren't going to do it. Hard to say. So yeah, here's Chaos Recipe in case you for some reason haven't seen that. Looks like that. Boom, 2 Chaos. I could have done that a few more times. So let's do a harder map. So I'll kind of show you like where I'll show you how difficult. Yeah, okay, let's see here. Unfortunately, I don't even have the chisel capacity. So red maps have to be corrupted, actually, to the thing. Well, I shouldn't have messed with that now that I think about it. I don't even have a Val Orb to corrupt it. Yeah, one of the biggest reasons I'm not doing red tier maps because I don't even have Val Orbs. I may have to go out and buy them. I don't know. Oops. Again, I am going to run Domination. Sure, Maven can witness this, I guess. Oh, I have a point to spend somewhere. I think... Oh, yeah, right here. Alright, yeah, let's check this out. See how this goes. So I'm not going to use the Sentinels in here, obviously, because they're too hard. But you can see, you really see Herald of Ice in action here. That's what's kind of AoEing everything down. Not too bad, I think. I will tell you though, like, it took me a few maps to figure it out. Like when I first got into white maps, oh my god, I just got obliterated with or without Sentinel use. I only had like 1800 HP though, and I wasn't even 100% res capped, and I had almost no spell suppression, and I had like determination, but it was like level 3 or something, so it wasn't working out too well for me. Yeah, so for a second there, I was a little bit afraid about how my league start was going to go. It definitely slowed me down a little bit, but I got things figured out now. It took a few gear upgrades. Obviously, I had to get my resistances in order. I had to get the auras in order. My determination's still very low. I think it's only like level 10 or something. I recently got strength on my gloves, so that is going to help me unlock a higher level determination. That was a mistake I didn't really see coming. Being stat capped on determination, like not being able to level, so like it being so low level that I might as well not even been using it. I think it was giving me like 300 armor or something. Okay, here we go. Now this is what I want to see right here. Either an echoing shrine or the speed shrine. You can see what kind of carry potential this has. Now, I went from like meh damage to like just melting everything, and this is one of the big reasons why I'm not even remotely worried about, oh wow, this is a possessed boss. Yeah, but I'm still gonna melt him. So I probably wouldn't be face tanking this boss like that if I didn't have that shrine effect that I have right now. Because I don't think that would have went so well, actually. Kind of lucky only one boss spawned on this map. Corrupted blood for some reason. Yeah, but I'm really glad I could kind of show you what a major acceleration shrine looks like in the highest tier map that I'm even doing. So you can see I'm just breezing through this now, and I know it kind of looks like ridiculous. Like you're thinking, well, why aren't you already on high tier red maps? Well, sort of the very end of day one, I finally got stuff figured out to where I stopped just getting melted. I was just dying. Like I walked into a map, the mobs look at me, and I'm dead. That's what it was like at first. It like low tier white maps, and I don't think it had anything to do with Sentinel. As far as like archnemesis, rather the new changes stuff. So that's all. This is kind of the day one update. I'd say that pretty well concludes it. More chaos recipes to be made. Did I make 4 chaos back there? I don't know, but certainly you can see how those shrines really helped me get through that map quite easily. So that is where we're at. I need to do the final lab, and then I need to buy some premium flasks, and then I need to buy a couple of medium cluster jewels. I'll just start with 2 medium cluster jewels. I already know how I'm gonna switch out my tree. I think I will eliminate all of this left side here, including the onslaught side, which wow, I kind of need to get that imperial bow and the rest of the defiance before I do that, don't I? Could be a problem. Well, maybe I just throw away all these points here, and then I can get a couple of medium clusters out, I think. Maybe throw these out too. Well, that's all I got for this part. This is really a work in progress, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like sharing my POB because, you know, usually I post my POB down below when I'm confident that this is a build that works and it's good, and I feel confident that if you guys tried to replicate it, you would have success. I honestly don't feel that way about this build yet. It's been a bit sketchy, and I think I need another season. You know, after having fully done the leveling process with this, maybe next season, if I try to do the same thing, I'll be much more confident about sharing a leveling POB or whatever. But, you know, you guys can always check out my profile if you want on the official website. Yeah, so that's it. Well, if you have any questions, please ask. I might have forgot some things. I don't know. But that is all I got. Oh, yeah, a final words I guess I'll say on the Sentinel League. I think I mentioned earlier in the video that the whole community is kind of up in arms about Sentinel League. Like the archnemesis modifiers being too hard and whatever. I don't know. I guess maybe I just like a challenge or whatnot. I've even watched some content creators. It's kind of funny what they say. They say, oh, I personally really like the challenges, but I think this is unhealthy for the longevity of the game or whatever. I don't know if they're just trying to like overly relate to the common man or something, but to me, I'm just gonna be honest, I like it. I think it's fine. I like actually being able to see something on my screen that really tells me, oh, that's what this mob is. You know, like Toxic, you would have seen, I saw in the maps I just did, like Toxic is super visible. There's like a whole bunch of them coming at you, and they do a lot less damage per, which is nice. Ice Prison's obvious. Gargantuan is like 3 times bigger than it was before. So I think GGG did a good job kind of really like, whoa. I know what kind of mob this is just looking at it at a glance. I don't even have to read it or whatever. I do think they're doing pretty good on that. Hey, you know, 15 chaos is a lot of money. I think I'll make that sale right in the middle of this video. These were the gloves I was wearing for this, but I had to get strength because I needed to unlock determination stuff. So I'm making profit on these sales. I'm flipping these items at the same time. I only paid like 5 chaos for these gloves, turning around and selling them for 15. So a lot of my primary methods of making currency is the Wretch Belt, flipping items, getting gear upgrades for myself, and then flipping the backup pieces and stuff like that. Hardly any of my currency is actually coming from mapping. If anything, mapping is costing me currency. Really. So this is obviously not a currency making video. Not gonna die. I'm probably making like 1 exalt, not even 1 exalt an hour right now. Yeah. So it's a little rough, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Week 1 review will be coming out after the first week, and things are gonna look a lot better there. My biggest weakness in this game is the league start. The earliest parts are really hard for me. That's where I don't shine very well. As you can see, after day one and like a few extra hours of playing, I'm still barely into red maps. So, and I played like 20 hours yesterday. So, anyway, that's where we're at. Just giving you the honest truth. Yeah, well, I'll catch you guys later. I'm not going to be streaming the next day or two, maybe at some point. Before the full week is over, I will turn the stream on, so apologies. But I know you guys are busy playing and grinding yourself anyway. You don't got time to watch somebody else play right now. Yep, well, it's been fun. Gonna turn off the stream. See you guys around.